like the typical meta junglers. I expect Poppy to be banned as well. Then Neferi really stands out as the sort of highest prior jungle left available.
Would be probably looking towards something like Zhao as well, especially if you want to play a more traditional front to back, particularly looking at Gen.G, who have been seeming to favor kind of that playstyle in this series versus T1. The Ziggs taken out as well, and it's been Vi Nocturne on the side of Gen.G. Things like the Gnar, Poppy, as you mentioned, have also jumped into the ban list in game number 2.
Olaf gone.
Ooh.
Usually is a response to that Jace that we've seen, also a response to things like the Gnar.
Also, the Ashe Seraphine. It's a pretty good counter when you can just run into the backline onto immobile carries.
I think Olaf has been a great pick for Doran, particularly when the enemy team lacks that DPS, has a mage in the bot lane, and they can't cut through it. Notably, Poppy and Orianna
favorite single player game of all time. Ooh, hard one.
Trundle banned.
I don't know. Elden Ring together with the.
Maybe suggests.
I don't know. I think Sekiro is a better game than Elden Ring, but it's too short.
Could also lean towards
Bro, Elden Ring has, with the expansion, has like 150 hours of insane content.
First and then rotation.
But the 20 hours that you play.
What else do we have available? There's just so much. It's like an open window.
Sekiro.
There.
It's just
going to be slammed by Gen.G, but you are giving up Ori. You're giving up
Could
Ori.
Be Varus top for Kiin.
Talked about before the jungler Neferi as well for repairing.
Yo, Pikachu, thank you very much. You didn't need to, bro.
I feel like Orianna plus by so much time in the team fights. There's so much survival.
You can play Jin, but I wouldn't like Peyz on Jin. It's hard to find ways to play carry bot lane unless you go Lucian, Melio, 1-2 straight up.
Neferi as an option into Varus top.
Orianna's open.
Flexibility of Varus might decrease.
Let's go Orianna Neferi, no?
That can also be used in a
Poppy's available, guys.
A T1 that ambitious. It seems like such a good pairing. Orianna was a given.
Elden Ring isn't single player.
Are they willing to pick up the Neferi, or is it going to be something more constitute like the Zhao that also has a good pairing with Faker's Ori?
Ooh.
Zhao, very effective.
Trundle is banned, guys. I am loving the T1 draft. I'm loving it, bro.
Prefers. Now for Gen.G, I expect a jungle pick up a Canyon, and then presumably Chovy's answer to this Orianna could go for something like the Akali, could also go for something like the Galio as well.
Pantheon Akali?
Taking the Pantheon.
You consider this a good tournament for evaluating regions? No.
And it will be that Galio for Chovy. They're hovering at least.
Ooh, I actually really like this combo because again, when you have
I prefer Akali if I'm going to be honest.
Then the side lanes become a little bit.
I'd want Chovy to have more agency.
And since T1 has been
so fucking clean
around the map, and so fast around the map, this is a way that Gen.G can actually contain that.
And I think it makes the skirmishing so threatening in the mid jungle because once one bit of CC lands, it's just going to get layered. There's a lot of burst damage between the two, enough to just completely demolish either Faker or Oner in the early levels. And now, will you get an 80 carry here, knowing that things will be thinned out afterwards? No, they're going to go for the Yorick for Doran.
The Flandre special. This guy brought out the Yorick, one of the very first players to bring it out in the current meta. I feel like it was something early last year even.
Yorick Mori, they blind pick it here because it's a good answer into Varus top
lane. It's actually really potent and strong to push that lane.
I wonder.
Cho'Gath, Orcs. Where are you at on that?
You know, it's fun to see how much these teams know each other, you know?
I love you scrolling there. Like,
last game of a series, Trundle of Canyon banned, Olaf banned, Nocturne Vi to make Orianna weaker, but then they invite Zhao, so I don't know.
Prepped it to come out here, and then obviously that would involve putting that Varus down towards the bot lane to ruler. Still a flex, still have the option to put that Varus in the top lane, but that would obviously be into the Yorick.
With the Olaf ban coming through from Gen.G and the Zhao Orianna.
You know what game this is? I want Gen.G to play Jack's top lane.
Sort of support action coming through from T1. I feel like they're
I reacted to the bin stuff already.
Their stalling potential in terms of team fights is just so strong right here with what they've already structured with the double melee champions plus the Orianna that it could really not allow that Galio Pantheon duo to work in terms of team fighting role 5 vs 5.
Final remarks on the bans. Lulu, Nautilus, both gone. Lucian's going to go as well as a possible pairing. They're thinking about what could have gone with the Varus. Again, remember that Varus still can be a flex. into the Yorick. Let's see.
Yeah, I did check it out. I'm telling my go-to editor to pump out the shorts so I can just tag it because a lot of people are asking, do you want one? Here. Obviously, it's massive news.
But T1 needs an AD
Lucian
carry.
Poppy ban, I think makes sense, but
there's a couple of majors up.
I am surprised. I don't know. I feel like I want Kiin Jax here. I want Kiin Jax
to be bought. Sivir works well here, and it does good into like the melee comp, but maybe you don't want to pick it on 4 since you don't know where the Varus is going.
Just go Leona 4 here. Is that the best move?
Just end up taking a support instead.
And then pick support on 5.
We'll see though. 41. I think the Varus, where it's going, really is going to dictate how this draft plays out.
Peyz typed about 3 names in 1 second that he had to pick.
The suspense is just building.
They're smiling.
Maybe he just didn't like any of the options.
It is a misclick. We're having a remake of
So I think
Keria smiled at him. So
there we go.
It might have been a misclick here from the bottom side of T1, but we'll find out regardless what that exactly was. However,
Trundle ban here, I think would be good.
Exact same pick and ban up until that point, up until the 0
Yeah, I think they should first pick Varus.
So we will go very quickly to this 4th pick for T1 to find out what they're leveraging here before.
I think here the answer should be Orianna Zhao.
Right, so all same picks.
And I think Canyon would pick Pantheon, and then Chovy, even though Akali is good, would probably pick Galio.
They get some little bit of extra time to think about this.
But here I think Yorick is what Doran would love to play because he knows post ban he's not going to get it. It's a solid blind.
Varus actually goes.
Then here, I think that you ban Nautilus.
Is dissuaded some way. Again, things like potentially even Xayah might.
And then here I'm thinking you ban probably Lucian. Then you follow up here with Lulu to set up the Rakan on 4.
And I think I'm just interested to see,
especially with the Lucian out, you just prepare for Rakan on 4 here with the Lulu ban.
I'm leaning towards it being in the bot lane at this point.
And then I think if you're Gen.G, you're still a little bit afraid of Poppy. Because you still need to set up your blind. Because if they... So now with the Poppy out, I think T1's going to lock Rakan.
All right, well,
he had a bit more than that.
I think already he would have claimed what it was a lot of time in these remakes, so he just had to slam it. So it is that Syndra. We talked about the Syndra before.
All right.
So he's going to get locked in, and again, going to be...
I'm not a fan of the Syndra lock-in, if I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't like it.
More likely going to be that Syndra. And now the question is, Gen.G, is that Varus going bot or not? They're going to show us the next 2 picks.
I think Rakan Jax is winning, by the way. I think Rakan Jax
this kind of makes on-hit Varus
is winning.
Uncomfortable playing into like Syndra Ori.
Yeah. Rakan Jax. I think it's such a good Jax game, no?
More likely to be Poke Varus.
No!
Though it looks like they might be leaning towards this. Could be Seraphine carry with an engaged support. You have these bruisers in the Galio and the Pantheon. You can kind of go forward and you can just ult.
Are we playing Varus Seraphine bot lane?
Or Pyke. That would be a 1 team fight.
Is there enough damage, though, to do Seraphine with the support?
No one's that tanky on T1, so I don't think it's too much of a concern.
Okay.
And you have a good amount of damage from the rest of the team, and it is going to be
Seraphine Alistar
bot lane. So you have the setup, you have the engage, you have this big bruiser front line, and then you actually
I don't see the Jax angle here. It's a fine lane into Yorick. Enemy has Zhao.
But to be honest,
and the enemy has no DPS output.
Engage works, that should get a lot of the job done.
And now Keria will play Rakan, right?
What are they going to respond with? Pairing up with the Syndra in the bot lane into these heavy bruises.
I mean, technically, Rel could work really well. A lot of melees on Gen.G, so the counter engage could work. Keria is a Pyke expert right here. He's going to be locking it in.
Okay.
Lovely.
I'm a little bit worried for the damage output on the side of T1. I'm not going to lie.
So this Pyke
it's going to be bloody.
Like a snowball pick, a lane pick, because
it's going to be bloody.
Onto the Seraphine, but also into the Alistar matchup. If Pyke is priming his Q in front of you, the best way to interrupt it is to headbutt him, but he'll just dash backward and then you're stunned. You're going to get the CC layered with the Syndra as well. It's not a fun matchup for the Alistar early on. It's not a fun matchup for the Seraphine. And really, Gen.G need to get out of that laning phase and have that value in team fights that the champions really provide.
So I'm going to ask you, is there worry if Kiin doesn't have an all-time game? Is there worried if Canyon isn't able to use Chovy
what do you have?
to help unlock the map here? What is your concern with Gen.G running into this T1 comp when there's a lot of comfort, but also a lot of operation within the ultis, within the team fights that feel like there's a lot of threatening angles that come through from these champions.
They're very tanky. The shields definitely help prolong the fight. So when you are lacking
I
damage,
kind of prefer T1.
Those team fights,
I prefer T1. Like they have like such comfortable champions.
My problem for Gen.G is actually getting there. I feel like the level 6 is going to be very important for them, and obviously not allowing Keria to do whatever he wants on the map in the early stages.
It's also like with picks like Syndra, Pyke,
my fiance made me eggs, and they've been on
the
floor.
To get the health bars even close to the XQ range, they're going to feel much worse. Pyke, if you do not snowball on this,
I had fresh eggs. I left them here since game 1.
There's too much CC going around, too much damage. They'll just explode you. So I really think T1 need to get the ball rolling and get some momentum. And ideally, if they can free up this Pyke to impact top lane,
I think T1 win, honestly.
Kiin's Varus should be targeted heavily. Shut him
down.
With
the play we've seen today, I just trust T1 to be like...
We're at the final game.
I don't know. They just have like really comfortable champions across the board.
Gen.G stayed at home, onlookers at the event. This time they've been knocked out, but moved to the 3rd place match where T1...
Hey, Syndra might be air because we want them to do more in the game.
Amazing in Paris, just like all the food does. But the real question is, can Gen.G bring us a game?
I think T1
like just saw in this series, because that was exceptional.
Has been really good at punishing the mistakes of Gen.G as well. So
hungry. Don't worry, there's another.
I think T1 wins this.
Eat during that, because that is going to be a delight.
T1 and 3.
And I'm not talking about the support.
I love this tech, because getting a ward in the lane brushes is so important for top laners, especially in a rangeless melee matchup. So we see Duro come over and put the ward down level 1, but Keria comes over and sweeps it. And it's just a little funny interaction matching that. Keria's, and I talked about him impacting top lane. I was thinking, you know, maybe after like 3 minutes. He's there now.
He is.
Duro sniffers it though.
Lane swap meta.
What the hell, bro?
Let's stick it around. Quick base from Keria, maybe.
Bro, the adaptation to bot lane.
So does Keria.
It's crazy.
And so both supports are going to be late to this lane. Solo experience for Peyz and Rule Up.
It keeps us cancelling. Kiin just checked to see if Keria is actually back in, and now he's gone.
By the way, Duro soaked a minion from top lane. Keria did not. So, might be a small EXP difference. I mean, Doran's going to hit level 2 here first, despite there being
kind of funny, but this is...
The ghouls are out as
well. This is pretty bad for Keria.
We'll have the E,
this is pretty bad for Keria.
He's going to be able to get the auto attacks down on the minions first, which does mean that they match level 2 at the same time.
Like, the first 2 minutes of the game is some of the most powerful moments you have as a Pyke.
The level 2 spike from
and it's gone.
And Gen.G T1 not able to capitalize on that window here and now, because the attention being put towards top lane does give a bit more freedom to Duro and Ruler. Notably as well, Duro
I think T1 has been a little bit better in the execution today.
Analysis is pretty tanky enough himself, but really prioritizing that durability.
So I'm rolling with T1 now.
Order's coming in. Yeah, Chovy forced out of the lane, has to teleport, but as you expect, range advantage.
Chovy's an insane Galio, like probably the best Galio in the world, but
Pantheon, he went Raptors into bot side.
I trust C1 more here in this game.
Oner has been doing this for forever, and because he knows Oner's gonna end up on the top side of the map, could potentially match.
Ooh, Kiin warded lane, and they know level 3 gang. The E lands. Baby Kiin. He's baby Kiin, and he's baby gone.
First blood.
That's really bad.
And if death wasn't enough, just look where those minions will land. When
guys,
Doran
this is a Varus with no TP.
The lane will push further.
This is not a TP Varus. That's a flash ghost.
Teleportless is going to have to overextend to catch his wave.
And I really wanted to see T1 putting attention towards top lane. So good that they've done it so far. Doran set that gank up really effectively.
Kiin dying to this is really bad.
And we even see double scuttle.
I think maybe Duro should have warded before he based.
While the top lane one was secured by Oner.
I don't like that they only picked Yorick and we sent Varus into top.
It's Peyz who doesn't have to use the TP because he hasn't actually backed away yet as well. Moves away as Ruler has with the amplifying tone. TP going to be used. Faker stands.
We first picked Varus to give Zinza Orianna.
To clear the waves. Duro's also roaming.
I don't know, man.
As they do at level 2, just crossing bridges in the mid lane. And Keria will go back while Duro, remember, slight experience advantage. Now has
I don't know, man.
He gets level 3 off the mid wave.
Yeah, thank you very much, JK shooter.
Keria fishing for an angle down here in the bot lane.
For the prime.
The CC layering very threatening.
He spots Canyon, I believe. You'll see Duro right now. Spots Canyon on the ward that was placed earlier. So they do know the whereabouts of the Pantheon. And again, This Gen.G composition truly unlocks at level 6 the Galio plus Pantheon that can hit the side lanes. Hopefully they can play to get some more money, potentially into Ruler's Seraphine, as Kiin, not gonna lie, he's a little bit cooked up topside, especially with where the wave has been kept from Doran this entire time. Makes it really, really difficult for Kiin to walk up and CS.
And meanwhile, it looks at bottom lane, headbutt pulverized. Duro's found a mark. It's Peyz. Yeah, the crowd's
Why is Peyz clicking so far, bro? He wants to grab the Grom with W.
Alistar can get behind you and set up that headbutt without even using flash.
He wanted to grab the Grom.
You're in a bad position then, and it's an easy pickup. You are this immobile mage, and it's just an easy hand on the Canyon on this Pantheon.
That's pretty ugly.
That's where you want your gold in the early game. Pantheon is going to be the moving piece in the entire Gen.G composition. So getting that extra gold, the extra first item. Now with the Tunneler in the inventory, Cannon really has the chance to impact that early game.
There's a ghost in the water. Carry out Bone Skewer is nice under Ruler. Halo Blades come through, but he didn't get the last 2 auto attacks of it. Peyz
is so over-leveled, bro. My man's level 5.
Duro chilling in yet another laning phase here in this series.
Yeah, Ruler low mana, so he has to reset to get out here. And this was just, you know,
Peyz just wants to grab the Grom, bro.
He's on Pyke. He can go aggressive. But look how
Grom
far forward Peyz was.
Yeah. Grom is just too juicy, bro.
Oh my god.
And then the headbutt back into the pulverize, into the stun. No getting out of that.
No one takes his Grom.
No, he's
do you think the new Gen.G head coach? You mean Rio?
For an angle, maybe looking for a bit more deep information.
I was looking quite rough for Rio, bro, because Gen.G went from undisputed best team in the world to
That's from Canyon especially. Oner a little bit behind on the EXP game.
I'm not blaming Rio only, but
Canyon a little bit. But as he gets that ward and Kiin here to auto out,
the track record is looking rough, you know.
No one wants to walk into this level 6 Varus, as the kill threat definitely there. And Peyz, speaking of kill threat, a couple more of those, and Ruler will have his number.
Duro also shows up in the mid lane wave.
Your name is Ruler, your name is Peyz.
T1 knows
deciding game, last game of the tournament.
They're gonna let go of that.
What will you remember?
Very, very close.
Playing Syndra Seraphine.
Camp right now, and this is where the threat happens. Level 6 on Chovy, level 6 on Canyon. Dragon is up. Where is Canyon going to use his first ult?
He's gonna fly in with Chovy, that's for sure. Dragon being an infernal for the stats to start. Grubs up in 1 minute 30. Keria hovers again. Pyke looking for the push out as well.
See Gen.G Falco, it would be crazy, bro.
Chovy on the Galio.
Hoppers come in from T1. They've sent the Yorick down to the bot lane, and we have Peyz up top side. We actually saw, so Kiin walked most of the way top lane. You can see him in the base now. They were late on this. He walked most of the way top, and now he's beelining towards the bot lane. T1 head and tempo when setting up this swap.
They're trying to match, seeing the Yorick down the bot lane. Great catch, Ox. They want to play for potentially the next Dragon, and also having Kiin around on the shortest route possible, matching that Yorick down bot lane. He's going to grab that wave just in time, so the extra distance is not going to be so punishing. I feel like when he hits every creep, he's most likely going to almost equalize in CS versus Doran right here. As Keria is hovering around mid, going towards the top of the map where Peyz is waiting on Syndra.
Spotted out by a quick scrying scuttle here as Oner walking over as well. Ward's placed down, control now spotted. Oner looking deep, see if he can take that for now, but they don't know where Canyon is, and obviously with ulti up it's dangerous. The shielded Ran shot, they're going to bring in Chovy under threat.
That's Chovy's flash.
Matt, free talent strike.
Oner
was 1 away from getting the knock up, so Chovy lives.
All right, Oner.
From Chovy, fortunately does win the flash, but if you're trading with Oner 1-for-1, it's not too bad in that situation. Now
Peyz checking again, has a ward.
Canyon able to back away. Ruler and Duro moving in.
Canyon is looking for the ult, he's gonna press it.
Duro looking for the engage, finds it first. There we go, Oner gonna fly on in.
Doran.
Press the button to stop them from doing so.
Oner.
But an encore flies and Oner is
down.
The first goes to Gen.G. Kiin, meanwhile,
alright, massive swing for Gen.G.
Kill on the man with the eulogy.
This is the first time Gen.G win a fight on the Grubs.
Gen.G able to get 2 of those Grubs.
The Grubs have been such a catalyst for T1's early game.
Now. You know, the Galio flies in, the Pantheon, the Alistar. There just isn't the damage, the DPS to cut through it from T1. And in the meantime, the fact that Kiin, who obviously got ganked early, able to find the solo kill. The
was I coping about T1's draft, guys?
Fantastic for Gen.G.
But that's what really worried me.
Was I coping?
Draft for T1. If we look at this one more
I might have been coping.
You see Canyon ulting in, on top of him is Chovy.
Are they just outscaled?
His wave through mid lane and then joins them. And
I think I might have been coping, bro.
Syndra is more of a burst mage. Orianna with the shockwave becomes a burst mage as well. I do not see the consistent damage from T1, and their consistent damage could be Doran.
Are they just outscale the Mercs?
On a winning matchup on the side lane.
Yeah, look for the angle, but couldn't chase Kiin too heavily because he was so close to tower. And once Kiin has lethal tempo stacked up, he's such a
Was Keria playing too shit today? Who made to believe in his Pyke at all?
Fight around the grubs. Duro didn't even have ult, and they still couldn't kill him.
Yeah.
So once he has that level 6, it's going to be an even harder target to cut through. Dragon is up and available.
My dream is collapsing.
A focus point now. We can see Canyon moving over towards it, and they have a good amount of vision in favor on that banana brush. You can see Chovy clearing on the control ward now, and there is a Scryer as well, so I just don't think any way for T1 to contest this.
It's a really cool way that Gen.G are approaching the fight.
I don't know how Doran gets solo bowled.
They have that Pantheon Galio ult combo or not. Right here, they're just walking in, they're playing melee range, they're engaging the dragon, they're looking to play inside their own bubble, whilst at the void grabs, they allow T1 to walk in, and then they're re-engaged from range, which then utilize very well the two semi-globals that they're sporting. Really nice way to showcase how to use the comp, whether you have that ability or not.
And nothing pressuring them from having to force themselves to a play without it. For now, those cooldowns almost back up and available for Canyon and Chovy. There's T1 hovering around the topside play. It looked like Duro.
Oh, this POV stuff is so
Doran,
fucking cool,
the
bro.
eulogy of the Isles, the 1v2 threat. The 1v1
I hope they find a way to implement that shit in regular play.
Insane damage that comes through.
And I think what's gone well for Gen.G, they've been patient, they've been controlled, and Duro's been moving to match Keria, and Keria just hasn't been able to have the impact on the Pyke, and this pick is absolutely on a timer. It's going to just be less and less useful as the game goes on, especially in this Gen.G composition. So even though the gold is
good game save for Gen.G,
I'm starting to feel a bit concerned for T1. They need to start
it's so weird that we have a third place match. It feels so unnatural because you always want to be able to say, oh, it's an important tournament, they can still win. Like, it's such a natural thing to think. Because my brain was like, oh, Gen.G is defending their title. They're playing a third place match.
You have to expect that now that Thunder Sky is complete for Canyon, he's going to be looking for his next victim.
Flashbone skewer is a whiff. You don't often say that. Duro disengaged with the headbutt. T1 still want to follow it up. But they're out of cap closes. They are getting desperate, Orcs, I think.
That was so close. Duro with a little sidestep. He had heal as well for the movement, but didn't use it. And Keria commits the flash. You can see he really wants to make things happen. Speaking of making things happen,
Doran's flash.
Flashes instead. Chain's corruption going to land.
Wow, so lands TP from Syndra. Doran buying time. Not enough.
Will die. Oner comes in late. The hero's entrance. Oner gets out of it, if only just the ball now.
T1 needs to get something here, bro. They need to get something. They need to get something. Oner with the sidestep. They need to get something. Quest completed. Duro's here. Combination. Peyz.
Kiin is dead as well. T1 gets some gold, but Chovy will take one back. A stun onto Faker. He'll slowly win the war.
It's a disaster for T1.
Faker will dodge, but he will die. And Chovy will pick up in one return.
This was 4v5, guys. This was 4v5.
But in the end, it's still
they got the initiative in Doran, the Moran, the Orangutan.
Kills coming out pretty huge there here. This setup on the Doran was pretty fantastic. They're really patient, waiting for his flash to make sure that the ult from Kiin connects. So he's just guaranteed.
I think if Duro just clicks top through lane, he would be so much faster.
They have the TP flank for Syndra. They have the rest of T1 moving up. They're not immediately able to capitalize here. So right now it's a 1-0 for Gen.G. And they end up focusing down Canyon, who doesn't have the Aegis immediately available. The stun doesn't connect, unfortunately. The shockwave does. But I think it's actually the Winds of War later for Chovy that ends up getting a kill here. Oh, we're going back to live.
No, we're going to go live. Doran's in trouble again, and the wife was used before, so...
Classic.
1 versus 3, he is dead. He has no flash. The kill's over to Kiin. The Varus top better.
Yorick's going to be so useless, bro.
Burying himself.
I don't see the comeback angle, guys.
I needed to see attention top lane. I was actually talking about T1 putting attention top lane.
Really?
They hate Doran, or do they love winning, bro?
Being further and further ahead.
And I feel like they did that pretty early on. Keria tried to pay a visit.
I was
Oner paid a
coping.
visit where they got the extra
I was coping so hard about T1.
On Zhao.
Coping about draft, coping about the champs, coping about their play.
I feel like this Pantheon Galio combo has been so
Gen.G is gonna
from Gen.G. Canyon
murk them this game.
It on cooldown, and it's coming off cooldown soon again. There are a couple of flashes missing from the map. Faker doesn't have one, Doran doesn't have one. So if these two overextend in any lane, and I'm looking at Faker right now on the top side of the map, Canyon Pantheon could be looking at his number.
I'm very worried about the top laner of Gen.G. 2,500 gold, and he's really maintaining
Varus
most
has
of it.
TP.
The T1 invade is happening, but Kiin is isolating bot with the Dusk and Dawn. So while there is some gold going
Galio
down, there
let
is
it go.
more arguably going to this
Kiin
Varus,
is taking
who
first
is going
tower.
to take the first turret at 14 minutes in the game.
This is not how this matchup goes.
Well, apparently this is how it goes.
This Yorick is stuck on Peyz and Sheen, right? And there's a Dusk and Dawn on the other side. Kiin has gotten out of lane. And that was the most important thing from Gen.G. Do they trust to put him top lane in a counter matchup and him getting out of it? Currently, he's 2,000 gold up, 1 item up, and he's in a great position to carry.
Keria looking for an engage onto Ruler. What can they find? Bonus skill waiting, trying to get the flash, but Keria advises against it. The Phantom Undertow
one
to
copium
escape,
angle.
Peyz are going to group up while Dragons up
One
now.
copium angle.
First one of the game went to Gen.G.
They're quite AP heavy.
The control here from T1.
That's one T1 copium angle.
Objectives, yeah. I mean, I think it's the right call with the current state.
But I think Gen's going to win for Barrow.
You can't really just face check into it. But Gen.G feeling pretty good about this one. We'll see what Soul is. To be honest, with how bulky their comp is.
So is T1.
Even
How's it comparable, bro?
Well, there we go. I think it still works very well with the composition.
Yeah.
These bulky frontline is going to be even harder to cut through. The shielding and healing that comes to as well going to be very high value. So if Gen.G get their hands on this, it's going to be so difficult to deal with. And I'm looking at Chovy as well. We already know that Galio, very good against mages. He has Abyssal Mask and the upgraded Merc Treads. He's so hard to cut through for these AP champs.
Oh, they're running for Kiin right here, but I feel like Kiin is just going to push out that wave and just back off. He knows that if you overstay, somebody will show up from T1 as they always do. I feel like the T1 rotation for that Dragon right there was perfect, with Pyke over on the top side whilst being stuttered by his team, so he cannot get shut down from the top side of the map.
Spooky to play against Pantheon, bro. Like,
push under
just ults you there top with your Orianna and you're cooked.
I feel like they're going to very heavily rely on that Orianna to make plays.
Oh, do you guys see that sign?
When that's G2, but
yeah,
why did you point?
No.
Why did you point this out? Because people can't see, but you kept pointing at me. Read that sign. Why is that, Ox?
I just wanted to know the answer.
You know what? EU is still in the final.
True.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
But it doesn't matter, so is Korea. That's the problem. We can't win this trouble. Porte has 3. Look, to be fair, I don't know the answer to that question. I think people have forgotten it. So, yeah, can't answer that for the fan. Engage, Duro, in a bit of trouble. He's slowed down by the audacious charge. Aftershot's now down. He's going to be knocked up, pulled back in. Might be a free kill, but we're going to bring in the Gundam Galio. Chovy onto Oner. Crescent Guard already pulled on out, and Oner flashes away. He's got the ball on his head, so he needs to re-engage to find an angle for Faker. Gen.G group up as 5 through mid. They have all waves pushed right now, and the freedom to move as they will.
That was both teams kind of throwing whatever they had at each other. It was majority Gen.G using the Galio ult to keep the Alistar alive. They are very bulky. Keria.
Chovy's deep. He's going to justice punch, but gets caught out. Keria almost dies, though.
Yeah, who got caught there? I'm not
I don't know.
Sure.
Why is Chovy not dying?
All right, I looked away for 1 second.
He's going to bring him in. He flashes away. He justice punches again. Chovy takes a year to die, but die he does.
Pyke money. Pyke money.
Shut down over to Faker. T1, a breath of light, and Faker is the only
Gen.G
one with
throw
gold in this game.
That is very big, though, because Orianna, I feel like, is going to be the game changer right here. The consistent damage is coming through Orianna with the Q, apart from the big pop from the shockwave, might be able to change those fights, especially when we're looking at the damage distribution. 41. There's just not a lot of consistent damage.
Power spike.
Knock up, yeah. Oner's punishing this. Always Peyz. Good scatter of the week onto Canyon under Tara. Tara not hitting just yet, but there is one. Encore comes through. Peyz.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Peyz.
Oner jumps back
uncharacteristically bad.
Play, but he
Here comes Keria. Has no ult though.
Wants to bring death from below.
With TPing like this,
he needs is a skewer, and that misses. Gen.G walk away.
That's kind of bad from Peyz.
Just shows how long it is taking T1 to cut through these targets and how much respect
that Seraphine damage is kind of crazy.
In both of these situations, Keria's like, hey, I found Chovy, and look how close he gets to death. Just trying to set up this play for his team. He flashes in and just nearly gets deleted just by a bit of damage from Peyz, from Ruler and there from Chovy. And then Chovy does try his hardest to get away. It does take a very long time to cut through him, though. It's still a good kill for the side of T1. But here, the CC and turnaround potential of Gen.G composition cannot be disrespected.
Yeah, Peyz walks up without flash, gets caught on the chain CC by the Seraphine, and gets punished.
Maybe that's what Ruler needs to play nowadays, bro. My goat needs to play Seraphine and be a kitten.
It's going to go down to Kiin, whether they
favorite skin?
play or not. Keria back
I really like IG Camille.
Kiin is just in these side lanes. Right now,
and I like Arcane Jace.
That guy is about to have a second item here on this Varus top.
I feel like the pace of the game is picking up right here. Cannon also with his ult up right now could be looking. The second that towers go down, this is where Pantheon shines, because you think it's a 1 versus 1, suddenly he dives in, and suddenly becomes a 3 versus 1, as Galio can follow up on that as well on the side of Chovy. So T1 are going to have to be very careful on the side lane push.
50 seconds on that Dragon, and Baron going to be up and available as well, so I feel like this is the pivotal fight. The T1 misstep, not only
heckin' love Arcane.
3 dragons, but also can head over to that Baron. They don't have the most DPS of any composition, but they're very bulky, so they can withstand it. If they get a clean fight, they will just take that objective.
They will indeed, and Kiin now also just picked up his second item, so let's call that a power spike. He's got a proto belt now on this Varus top.
I'm wondering if Chovy's going to have enough for his second item. The Imperial Mandate is insane on Galio. This Abyssal Mask Imperial Mandate, so much extra percentage damage increase, and the ability haste you get on almost all your abilities. It's only your Q that the Imperial Mandate doesn't apply to. Is just crazy value.
Very importantly, right here for Peyz, no flash available, and so much
CC bro.
Gen.G. If he gets caught or tipped by the Seraphine ult, then the chain CC comes through, and we saw him overstep over in mid lane and just getting one shot. So very important for Peyz to not get caught as T1 are approaching, trying to get some visions on their own jungle. Keria will be the first one to stand forward, but
Alright, Cristiano Ronaldo, will it be a battle one, or are they just going to run it down mid?
Well, gets a bone skewer to start us off, but this Dragon feels like it's gone. Oner's coming in from mid to the Dragon Pit. TP's going to be used by Gen.G defensively, engaged from Duro.
Alright, Oner's tanky here, he's tanky.
Well, no knockup, but they're all in range.
They knock Pantheon.
Away, or at least sends
Holy, Orianna ult on 3.
Not bad, but not enough damage right now.
Speaking of tanky, the enemy team just can't die, no? We have Syndra, Orianna DPSing them. We're outskilled on Mercs. I was coping so hard about the draft, bro.
And threatening Baron here.
I was coping so hard, bro. How can they kill Alistar Galio ever, bro?
Changes the sheer bulk of Gen.G so hard to cut through, and it just feels like a brick wall that you want to find again.
Chat always says no damage.
Side lane.
He'll get bot as well. Actually, not a bad TP.
And it doesn't make sense at all. This is one of the cases
try to buy as much
where it makes
time
sense
as possible while Doran is taking down those towers. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Hullbreaker even come out in the later stages from the side of Doran, just to try and get something off the map. The 5 versus 5 is looking really rough for T1 right now.
Close to this turret, moving down to Gen.G. They've already used some of those semi-globals, so they won't be able to catch Doran just yet. Keria's also doing a bit of coverage here. So a bit of gold back over to T1, but remember again, they're facing Soul Point, with Gen.G feeling so comfortable in this game 3. Seraphine with 2 items. Imperial Mandate that Orcs talked about, that's now been picked up. So it really is Chovy getting unkillable, or at least annoying at this stage. Duro at half HP, he doesn't hold, or rather have the unbreakable will. Oner ulties again, Kiin gets the ulti down. Oner is on an island, and Chovy comes in to make sure he drowns. Gen.G again, another pick.
He's on an island. Which island?
Chovy was so beautiful because he completely
honestly, I was coping so hard, bro.
Oner,
I was coping so hard. I'm just trying to make sense of this tournament, and I just can't. I can't. I was coping so hard, bro.
This just does not feel fun.
This tournament made me lose my mind about what I think is going to win and not win. I was coping so hard, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, T1's playing full comp champs. That's gonna be cool, man.
The Crescent Guard, it only stops people outside of it.
They're gonna be 10-0 after minute 5, bro, with cool early game.
So Gen.G
and then we're here, bro, playing Syndra, Orianna versus Galio, Alistar, Pantheon. We just can't, and nothing can die. Outscaled on Mercs.
Gen.G feel in a really comfortable spot. I think for the side of T1, if you're going to approach them in the 5v5, which you may have to deny the soul,
because this is the one game that is rational, you know? And I was completely irrational. Look at that, bro! We ain't killing nobody this game!
Fake into Shockwave, yeah, the ulti's going to be launched in. Chovy and Canyon flying in. Fake is now already
we ain't killing nobody, bro.
Burn his flash. Tried for the chunk onto Duro, but now, guess what? He doesn't have flash or shockwave, a blast cone, stunned up, taken by Chovy, so there will be no escape for the mid laner of T1. And a spear to silence all the fans with him. Baron sits in front, and Gen.G are unstoppable in this game.
And they have so much chain potential on this Baron, and so much bulkiness and sustain. It's so comfortable to start this up. They can just be ready for T1 to approach, and the second they see a target, they'll go.
Doran making work on the bottom side. That's only his wife. He's walking up himself at 7k.
Well,
can they do the 4v5? Canyon relaunches himself into Peyz.
Holy Peyz flash is kind of juicy.
Once again, Oner's ulti used exceptionally
well.
They
just have no damage, bro.
Isolated. Peyz comes in with the scout of the way.
Look at that. They don't do damage.
Low.
Look.
And to the credit of T1, they have pulled Gen.G off the Baron. They've gotten some health chunks
it's wrong.
from Gen.G. But now they
you would have
must
killed somebody.
The follow-up from Duro.
My favorite
the Protobelt from
Kitchen
Kiin.
Nightmare episode.
Lands on his counterpart. The burst with the AP top lane. AD carries
they're just walking you down, bro.
Finds a kill. T1 running
they're just walking you down, bro. They're just right-clicking into you like they're playing Night Elf and Warcraft 3 and they have bears and dryads, bro.
Gundam Galio sends T1 down. A mecha unstoppable beast from the mid lane this time. It's not Faker.
Nah, their draft is so ass. I can't believe it. I thought that T1 would win. I actually can't believe it. I actually cannot believe that I thought that T1 had a chance in this game.
Reinforcements, but it's not enough to put a stop to Gen.G, and they move back over to the Baron.
It was also very scary because Oner was around, so you never want to take even the slightest chance of Oner getting inside the pit.
What a shame.
And since they have committed so much to chase them out, might as well take them down as well. Peyz very patient with his last auto on the blast cone to try and save Doran, but the auto attack had already come through from Kiin, so takes him down. And
what a
Zhao
shame.
is so patient on this blast cone. The second Faker walks in, takes them both down with a taunt.
And you know that T1 kind of get the vibe that if we let everyone die here, the game might just be doomed, because the fact Faker TP'd in to try and save them, really just committing everything to try and get these last members out, but unfortunately we weren't able to do so now.
All right, fair play to Gen.G though.
Until that
Gen.G's playing a good game. That is probably one of the best cannon games I've ever seen. Well, in this year.
Can T1 get the jump
one of the best cannon games of the year.
I mean, I'm worried because the face checking's so easy. Chovy can just run on in. He's got to seek his arm guard. Good scout of the week.
Their HP definitely moved, guys.
Kiin, remember, as well. Sonya's
good poke there from T1. Good poke.
In. They want to send it and finish off third place.
Doran
hasn't had the best game as the charm brings them in, and T1 are destroyed. It's
my
not
lord.
Even close. It's not even competitive.
I was coping so hard.
Game.
Gen.G pile up on top of T1, and their composition is not durable enough to fend them off. Gen.G with the Baron are gonna push as many lanes as possible. I don't think Cannon is even taking that.
Yeah, the Syndra Pyke ruined the whole game.
At this point, it feels almost impossible for T1 to cut through all this bulk and the engage, the coordination from Gen.G. This is what we know from this team. This is them at their best.
I thought they would pick Rakan on 4 and float a Xayah on 5.
At this point,
something like this, you know.
Does not have nearly as much to offer.
But
or like
this
Severe.
composition is just so good at tanking T1. T1 have burst primarily. Doran didn't get ahead on Yorick, so he's not really an AD threat to them. And as you can see all around the board, Seraphine, extra HP through allies. Mid lane, he's only building
I think it takes them half an hour to kill Galio. Half an hour.
Top lane, there's an hourglass.
And honestly, even the Yorick, like the Maiden does percentage HP magic damage. So not the best help there, not the best contribution. You can see Canyon has gone for a lot of magic resist itemization. Doran seems to be in a bit of trouble. He's trying to defend the Krugs, which I get. We know who he is.
He's Krugs.
Maybe Duro saving him from himself, obviously. The wife. Down she goes in a quick moment, or at least close to, yep. And as you said, near impossible. It feels like the T1.
Sorry for the lack of energy. I'm generally so... I feel depressed because I said that T1's going to win this game.
But the fact he has that spell shield and the Zhonya's and the rocket belt and flash and ghost, he is not an easy target again.
And Solari from Alistar.
Yeah, there's so many defensive tools for these. I say squishies, they're not even that squishy. Look at the health bars of the Seraphine and Varus.
Give me freedom, give me fire, give me reason.
See the Baron power play over
take me higher.
5,000 in favor of Gen.G.
Moments away from silencing what is a majority-based T1 crowd here at AWC 2026. And in Paris, hasn't been many cheers for this third game because I think they've known the
feel bad for Oner this game, bro. Like, he can't do shit, bro.
By Doran. But a Mega Blast Cone
he has created so much space in fights,
Gen.G,
but the enemy is just ignoring the rest of the team, bro.
They try and overload with all 5.
T1 had to try and make a play here, see if they can catch someone. Canyon was all the way to the top side. No TP to join. His ult was not in range to join. He had to reset as well to get an extra item in his inventory. Now Rift Maker for the Galio, so a lot more damage coming through as well as tankiness. And T1 just missed their window.
Change corruption, dodge out of the way with the Proto Belt. The burst is insane. Fake it with the shockwave for Kiin goes golden. You can't kill it. He's got too many tools. As Duro sends Oner once again into the middle of Gen.G, which I'm sure he's getting pretty bloody sick of right now. The Winds of War hit Peyz, a double down. The base in tatters. 29 minutes, and Gen.G are going to take it home.
There's only a Yorick and a Pyke to defend the base. Don't think there's anything Doran can do here.
He's going to flush away. Gen.G are going to chase, but the Nexus turrets are next. A Pantheon, sure, but Doran is out of his own base, sent out by Chovy. Gen.G matched by DK, but T1 are just another day in the woodwork for the LCK team. And
really good game from Gen.G though. This was a really clean.
Their title, at least
but
they'll be able to take
at the same time, honestly, this game they can get away with anything, bro.
Oner's coming up in 5. Fake is now alive.
Fake is level 14, bro.
A shockwave brings him in, but Chovy buffers.
They got Chemtech Soul, bro.
Shield of Doran, Winds of War, Faker dies on the respawn. Oner gets back as well. A scat of the week, but Chovy's right back in. You can't stop him. And I doubt that you can kill him as well. The next Nexus time they turn and go, you know what? We've killed another one. Let's get the Nexus. 3rd at EWC 2026. Unable to defend their title, but able to defend their honor versus T1.
Gen.G will win their final match of the tournament, and the reigning champs unable to reclaim that same prize, but will get the 3rd place finish and get revenge.
Fist bumps into, all right, guys.